Q, and I play Vox Windbler. Vox is a half-elf fighter and assassin rogue. She was born and lived most of her life in Asparia at the end of the Salt Valley. Her parents are Ava Windbler, who knew Perrin when they both lived in the Feywilds, and Turan Windbler. Ava's half-brother Balak murdered Turan, imprisoned Ava, and controlled Vox's uncle Theon. This results in Vox being thrust into chaos instead of the peace she had known. She eventually finds love with Reviana Brighthand, the captain of the Royal Guard, before Balak frames Vox for murdering the king of the Salt Valley, and manipulates circumstances to cause her to travel to the Dreadspire, leaving behind everything she knew. Now she travels the world with her found family, her talking sword Brightburn, to create a better future for those she loves.
Howdy, my name is Sean, and I play Atticus Phoenix. Atticus is a human fighter with a champion/homebrewed mage slayer archetype. Atticus hails from one of the oldest royal houses in Nymeria, the House of the Phoenix, which is nestled deep within the South Green, but has been wandering the continent for some time as a knight, pledging his sword to upkeep the memory of his family and to protect the people of the land. He is haunted by an ancient entity known as the Darkness, which has cursed him and his entire family with a plague that has left him and a few others as the last of their name. Atticus is the father of Atlas, his long-lost son, best friend to Cletus Legrand of the Hill Giants, former partner of Burgent Fellhammer, and designated leader of the party.
My name is Tyler James, and I play Perrin Meliamne. Perrin is a wood elf, bard, and ranger. Perrin was born on the Golden Shores to fulfill a lost prophecy before he was transported to the Feywild to escape the land's destruction. There he was raised by a figure half forgotten to all Nymeria, and eventually traveled the land under the control of Balak Morgrasp, while learning to be a con man and wanderer. He seeks to find peace between the necessity of violence in a cruel world and his deep love of life in all its complexity. Perrin is the adoptive father of Fauna, a pledged squire of Atticus Phoenix, keeper of the Door Realm Key, companion of Amos the Mockingbird, and wielder of the Ornament of Rights.
My name is Aaliyah and I play Fauna. She is a witch raised in the Evewood Coven that was recently wiped out by the Night Guard. Although Perrin is the closest thing she currently has to a father, her real parentage is still a mystery, as are the horns, which seem to be some kind of curse. She has a black cat familiar who is her best friend and constant companion, and has now found a new family in the ragtag party she has joined up with on this adventure.
My name is June, and I play Nyxloon, a shadow elf, divine sorcerer, and rogue assassin with our shared pronouns of she/they. The last remaining heir to the Nightlands and prime of the Court of Night, Nyx was secreted into an enchanted locket to survive an ancient war, where they were soon lost to time and the whims of their Loomstone's wielder. From close friend and confidant of the Queen, to gauche pawn and ruthless assassin for the Speakers, Nyx was passed from many hands throughout history, and changed much of it. Now freed from the Loomstone's control, Nyx has only 3 goals: repay their life debt to Atticus Phoenix, protect their godson, Perrin Meliamne, and reclaim what was stolen from them in memory, identity, and homeland.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Feast of Dice channel. I am your DM, Elijah Goodall, and we are here in Arc 3 of our regular actual play Castle Run. So welcome. A little bit of like housekeeping and recap. Last week, you all set out on your journey across the seas to 5 weeks from now, or 4 weeks from now, I should say, from the beginning of this session, arrive at the Nightlands. Not needing to make port along the way, it is a pretty long journey across the ocean. And each of these sessions leading up to your arrival, we are just looking at 1 week, essentially, of travel over the wide seas. That being said, we're going to start the session with a few rolls. The first thing I'm going to need from all of you is a D4 roll. And to that D4, you get to add your charisma modifier.
Is that from everyone?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then I will keep track of that number too, but all of you keep track of, like, write that number down somewhere as well.
9.
5.
7.
Did you roll? You rolled a 4.
4 plus 5.
Okay.
6.
Is it like the check number or the other one?
The smaller one. So the check. Yeah,
Yep.
the check. Yeah, the modifier.
I got 6.
2.
Okay.
Yeah, plus 2 or
6. I heard 6 from Fauna and Nyx. 4 from. I missed Vox's. What was Vox's?
7.
7. Okay. Pretty good for everyone, actually.
we weirdly have pretty high charisma as a party.
As a
Like,
party,
I
yeah.
don't, does anyone have negative charisma?
We're charismatic as fuck.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. That is that roll done. Keeping track of those amount of points. Those are. It will be different if, let's say that if I'm describing a scene and I place you there, like, you don't have to spend one of those points to be in it. Those are the points that you have to join interactions that are already taking place on the ship. So as we roleplay things, we talked kind of last time after the session about like sharing information on the ship, and like who could be where, and in order to be in a space and be having an interaction with each other as a party, you just spend one of those points. And like
That means we can pop out of the closet when people are having a secret conversation too, right?
yes, yeah, if you would like to spend the points,
Not
yes.
the
I'm under the
closet.
bed.
Say we get into a situation where it is one of you've like locked 2 of you in your quarters for something. I mean, the person who wants to spend the point to join the interaction will have to, say, make a thieves tool check or something to pick the lock on the door or overcome whatever obstacle you've tried to set in your way to have that private conversation. But those are your points. I will also allow those points to be used for rerolls for checks on board the ship. So you can basically use them. You can't use them for like attack rolls or saving throws, but when it comes to like ability checks, I will allow those to also be used like inspiration for ability checks on board the ship. And then, I should also mention this is your points for all these sessions at the sea. So we're not re-rolling this D4 each session. Like, this is your total pool for the entire ship. So, keep that in mind when you're using them. The second thing that I will need from everyone is Constitution saves to see how well you are handling life at sea, given the turmoil and being away from land. I did say already we've established that Nyx and Perrin have done this multiple times before. Both of you can roll your Constitution save with advantage. The DC is just 8 that you need to hit in order to not be suffering while at sea.
14.
15.
12.
12.
11.
High enough for everyone. None of you are going to be receiving disadvantage on ability checks, at least for this week. We will see how it goes next week on the ship then. Last but not least, you've all been on the ship for a week. You are free if you would like. There's no cost for this, but if you would like, you can roll me investigation checks. I will say, actually, in place of this, not both, investigation checks if you think you've been focusing on exploring the ship. Persuasion checks if you think you have been focusing on befriending the crew. But you have to choose one or the other.
I think Perrin is full on in his folk hero mode and is trying to befriend the entire crew. That's going to be 23.
Okay. And I will also say that
Yeah, I think
No, go for it.
Atticus would be doing the same. I rolled a 25 on
Nice.
on persuasion.
Okay.
A 19 plus 6.
I think for Vox, in order to feel more comfortable on the ship, she wants to know everything about the ship. So it's definitely an investigation. And I rolled a 28.
Oh my god.
Ship, I command you, give us your secrets.
Yeah.
I also picked investigation for the same reason and only got a 13.
Okay.
I got a nat 1.
Which
Fauna
role
is sitting
did
in her
you
room
choose?
alone with Cletus.
100%
Perrin is-
just in the forest or in the,
Yeah. Would you have? I
plant
do
room
need
all
to
the
know
whole
though.
time.
Were you rolling for persuasion, or were you rolling for investigation? Okay.
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
lost.
Okay.
I got a 7 total, if that matters for anything.
We haven't seen Fauna in a
Yeah.
week. Where's she been?
These
I
are.
don't want to
rolls-
talk about it.
I
I don't want to know what she's
myself.
doing.
Can I
Actually
flavor
locked
text
myself
this
in
for a
my
second?
cabin and I can't get out.
Much
Hello?
like your Constitution saves, these I will let you roll investigation or persuasion at the beginning of each of these sessions. But these are your scores for the week. So Perrin and Atticus, you're doing very well with the crew. Vox, that is that's near a god tier investigation roll. So I'm going to slowly drip you information throughout the course of the session that you are discovering. Nick's a 13 isn't bad, but it's not great. You might learn a couple things, and Fauna, we'll find out what Fauna learns.
I was looking at the wrong number. I actually got a 2 total. Not.
Okay, cool. 2 with the
Sure.
number.
Wait.
Yeah, great.
Actually, yeah.
What
I
a
think,
so, 'cause
negative
your-
I
yeah,
think
your
it's a
intelligence is
1.
+1,
My
yeah.
printer is kind of bad, so I can't tell for sure. I think it's a +1 for investigation.
Hey,
I
the-
mean, you
the
roll
printer
that
didn't
one.
roll
It's
a
a that
1.
one.
Yeah.
You also rolled a
Just
nat
I
1
just
on your
wanted to be
vision and your
honest
printer
that I
ink.
accidentally rolled. I accidentally said 6, but it's
Okay, I think Atticus, you tell me on that 25 if Atticus would have been attempting to befriend new people or strengthen the relationships with crew members he's already met.
I think Atticus is just such a social butterfly. It's if anybody lets him talk, then he's telling stories.
Lovely. Okay.
So wholesome.
Yeah. You are telling stories. Atticus, I'm going to give you a little bit of information here about some of the crew. You've met a few new members now. One of the crew members that enjoys coming to or being near, especially when you tell, I think stories of you've swapped a fair amount of war stories at this point with this person, is Maya Oro. A vivacious and hardy and very large, midnight purple tiefling with these massive horns. Fauna even really larger than yours, but these massive ivory horns and those little goat pupils. and the sinners of her iris. Let's see.
In the conversation, Atticus goes, "Yeah, and this is one of my good friends right here, Ispa Sale." He's just gonna slam his tower shield down.
Oh yeah, Ispa. I thought for a second I thought you said Ismith the moth. Yeah, you slam Ispa down.
Oh, it's wonderful to meet you. Maya?
You see, Maya is pretty much almost as tall as you, Atticus. So the tower shield is like kind of, it doesn't have eyes, but is at eye level with Maya. Maya gives the tower shield an approving look.
Darling, this shield is amazing. Tell me, where did you find such a, I must say, large? I've seen tower shields before in my day, but this is magnificent.
I'm so sorry, I got distracted by a note on the side to my compatriots. What did you ask?
The size of the shield is quite impressive. It's rare to find a tower shield that someone of our size can fit behind. Usually it ends up being, more of a, well, half a shield, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, I found this in a whale, so, you go looking in wells, you find a lot of cool things a lot of the time, so I definitely recommend it.
In a well, I don't suppose this is on the same estate that your family owns. You mentioned it before.
Yeah, it was on my family estate. It actually was in my dreams, too, so, there's a whole other layer to it.
What one can find in dreams. Your stories interest me at this Phoenix. I very much would like to see this Phoenix Manor when we return to the South Green, if that is possible.
Oh, totally, yeah. A lot of rooms, pretty good food. My son, runs it. It's pretty rad place.
Fascinating. Well, I would love to stay up here longer, but I believe I am due downstairs for... I've been engaging with, combat training with another member of your party, and it has proved to be honing my skills in a very useful manner. So, I bid you good day. And Maya's going to give you a bow, and she
Atticus is sunbathing already.
Heading below
Says
decks.
he just and
Perfect.
pops top and just soaks in the sun.
Let me ask this: with all those other scores, I also want to hear, what are people doing on the ship? Where are you spending your time? You've kind of got that list of rooms now.
Perrin is doing, I'll just give you the broad overview, but it's tied into that persuasion score.
Yeah.
Perrin is every morning doing intensive combat workouts with Vox. He's also clearly mingling with the crew, but what he's doing with the crew is running a extreme sports gambling ring. So this group, this fairly decent, a good chunk of the crew are coming up with new challenges and then betting on the challenges and who can complete them, just jumping off of stuff or whatever, climbing stuff, jumping stuff, throwing knives down hallways. But he's also, anyone who's involved in that, he's basically pushing really hard for them to come to the combat classes.
Amazing. 23 persuasion, I think some of this crew, I would say more than 2/3 of this crew has seen their fair share of combat, but y'all are level 12. And I think for most of them, there's enough humility present in this crew to realize that they could learn a thing or two from you. And so 23 persuasion, I think by the end of that first week, people are regularly coming to, and so not only are they participating in some of these challenges, but there is also a fair amount of training going on. So Vox, between you and Vera, you have your hands full. In kind of the second, there are 2 galleys on board the ship on the mid-level, one being the crew quarters. The second is another crew quarters in case of a larger crew is needed, but we're kind of running on a skeleton crew to get this ship to the Nightlands, and so that second...
August in the corner goes, bruh.
Yeah. August, is this where August is staying? Like, permanently? Is this
It's
the
a skeleton crew.
Great, fantastic. But you have been given sort of this second galley to set up a training area in. There's also up at the far end where the kitchen is. Most days, Kurt is in there, like pretty quickly. Cooking duty was handed over to Kurt, who handily beat the original chef. Just kind of a small, surly human man. Won the chowder contest in week 1 and has since been won the popular vote by the crew to be the new chef. So Kurt is in there most days, cooking.
So I want to yes and part of that. Part of what Perrin is doing is trading vouchers for crew chores, but he's also he packed so much oddball stuff, so he's slipping Kurt all kinds of spices and ingredients and things like that were not actually packed to be part of this. So yeah, he's making these things and getting really popular as a cook. Yeah. And Perrin just keeps giving him more fancy food stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna roll a little check for Kurt with advantage because of that to see how well the cooking is going. Kurt gets a +5 to this roll. It's the first one. First one's a 15 for a total of 20. That's the best one. Dirty 20. Kurt's doing pretty good. That is happening there. And there's also a certain point on that 23 roll, there is a point to where now having, multiple interactions with different members of the crew that have been overwhelmingly positive. After about a week of conversation with Susuro and kind of him learning a little bit about not just the party story, but your story as well, you have noticed that Susuro has been busy in a small room next to his quarters. And there's a point about 8 days in where Susuro comes to you and asks if he can show you something below deck.
Yeah, what's up?
I just thought it time to. Well, I suppose it's something.
Is this something
gift.
spooky and magical? Is this going to be a horrifying thing?
Well, magical, yes. I'm not sure spooky's the right adjective for the. Well, let me just show you.
And he opens into the room.
Perrin stays in the hallway and kind of frowns that he's like, is this a thing you're going to show me in this private space? Because, look, I don't know if word's gotten around. I have a thing for old people, but, I'm not really feeling it necessarily with you. No offense.
Oh, no. Not taken. Perrin, you're just not really my type, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I hope that's not being too forward.
No, that's perfect. That's fine.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Friends, though.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
And Susuro opens the door. Inside the room, Perrin, you see it's pretty bare bones, almost as if some of the furniture in here has been repurposed for something else. In the center of the room, you see that there's just a humble wooden door, perhaps created at a lot of that repurposed furniture, but it's kind of mismatched planks tacked together and a sparse wooden frame just in a little dome.
Where is it
shape.
positioned in the room?
Center of the room.
Okay. So, like, cool, you're doing some woodworking? Is your door not okay?
Oh no, my door's fine. I just
It's like, I know Gerald. He's, like, the ship repair guy. Like, he'll come fix it. He's bored right now. The ship's in good shape.
right.
Gerald spelled with a PH.
Great. I'll make a note of it. How do you want to spell the whole thing out maybe just so I have an idea of how?
No.
Oh, great. And pronounced, I'm getting the pronunciation on this correct, right? It's Gerald.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'll
He's from Aros. That's just how they pronounce things there.
Yep, I'm sure it is. Cesaro's going to look back at the door, put a hand on your shoulder, Perrin. Just, in case you need it. And gives you a nod and leaves.
Perrin is gonna open the door. It's normal. Just normal open.
You open the door, you see the wall on the other side. Just a door with a frame around it.
Where the fuck is this? What for? Wait, hold on. Hey, Cicero, you said you found this or you made it?
Made it.
Aaron is gonna close it, and then he's going to, picture the key that he is and has, and he's gonna open it again.
You open it again. When you open it again, you are looking Perrin. Oh, do I make this ahead? I think this is a headphone thing. It'll be quick though. It'll be quick.
June, don't listen.
Perrin, you go to open the door. You're looking at the inside of the cabin. It's the afternoon and light filters in. The waves crashing against the side of the ship fade away. And you see the cabin. Empty now, but the cabin nonetheless.
All right. Well. Oh. It's just like every other door. Perrin reaches through and just kind of like waves at the air. So, sir, ooh, okay. What for? Okay. Perrin walks through. Doesn't close the door behind him. In fact, keeps a hand on the door.
Yeah. You walk in. Give me an Arcana check.
6.
6. Yeah. It's your cabin. That's about all you get.
Yeah, he's gonna walk back to the ship and close it.
Okay. You close it behind you. Everyone can put headphones back on. back in the ship, door shut. Let's see, those were the that's persuasion stuff. Nyx, I mean, on a 13, Nyx finds the list that I've given you. Like you, I think what you do, where you do spend your time. We talked a little bit about this outside of session, but a lot of time scanning the horizon from the crow's nest, and there is a point about 9 days in where you are up in the crow's nest and you notice someone that you have seen a fair amount of times at the wheel of the ship when the captain is in his quarters. Let me go to my NPCs real quick so I don't forget the description. You see, I think what you would know at this point, or you've been able to figure out, is the first mate to Captain Marico. They're simply known as Simone, a half-elf with white hair and that gray skin that marks them as like having the blood of a night elf in them. And there's a point where you go up into the crow's nest maybe for the second or third time, and Simone is up there keeping watch, looking out over the waves. Doesn't really say anything when you get up, just looks down at you and gives you a small nod and acknowledgement, and then turns their glass back to the ocean.
Nick's kind of in preparation for almost like training their circadian rhythm to like be on a schedule, like knowing what they're going into and that there isn't going to be like a sunrise and a sunset. It looks very different there. They've been sticking to a strict schedule throughout their day on the ship and throughout the week of just like waking up early. They go and train by themselves in the dojo, and then they go and like help with either like the breakfast or the lunch meal in the kitchen, and then kind of take a little portion of that and then go to the crow's nest to sit up there. And they've got like their sketchbook tucked under their arm and are kind of like munching on half of their meal that they've taken, and
yeah,
kind of give a little nod to Simone. And anything to report? Let me guess, more water?
Make a little roll real quick for Simone. Ooh. Okay.
Waves, and more waves.
They do keep rolling in. I don't know. I'm having a hard time telling, as far as I can tell from the charts, and you see there's a fair amount of like, there's navigational charts up there. You see a couple star charts. You also notice 13 investigation. I think I'm going to give you this without a perception check. You notice that there is a particular constellation. I think you recognize it as a constellation tattooed on the back of Simone's hand. But they've got their charts up there. I'm not sure, as far as I can tell, we shouldn't be anywhere near land. I don't know. Tell me what you make of this. And Simone is going to hand you the glass.
Yeah, next we'll take it and take a look.
Give me... Ooh, do I want to call this a perception check? It could actually be either one. It could be a perception or a nature check.
I chose perception, and that's 11.
Okay. On an 11, it's hard to see. Like, even using the glass, some sort of smudge,
We're here for a week.
maybe on the horizon. Yeah.
Nyx is gonna pull back and kind of wipe the glass a little bit and take another look, and I'm gonna use a sorcery point for that.
Okay.
15, so a little bit better.
15, a little bit better. You see a smudge in the distance. Something between, like a darker spot far on the horizon between the water and the sky. Or maybe part of the sky? There's a little flash. You can't tell if it's like a trick of light. Something in the distance, not land, though. Something else. And that's what you get in a 15.
Solar flares are pretty common around the Nightlands, but not this far out.
That's what I thought. It's not my first time, but I don't know. There's something about this time I just
What does your gut tell you? You've made this run more than most people on the ship.
Nyx, do you believe in the gods?
I believe they were a thing once. Whether or not they're still relevant is yet to be discovered.
I used to I mean, I guess I used to follow the traditions, and I think there was a time that I thought maybe Macorum had a purpose for me, or but it's been a long time since I've felt them. But ever since we've gotten on this ship, I don't know how to explain it other than to compare it to that, but I feel something. But it's different.
Good, bad, something in between.
Give me an insight check.
$15 again.
I don't know. Something between. That's probably nothing. Nyx, you can tell that they're lying.
Well, I mean, we are in pretty unprecedented times and unprecedented company, so makes sense. Plus, I think Vox said something about this ship being like some kind of old magic-y tree. I don't know. She was kind of rambling, and the moth was nearby, so she was trying to talk quietly, and it was hard to hear.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that old, I don't know, magic ship, I guess, is, yeah. I gotta go.
I might have a conflicted relationship with the gods. I mean, technically, right, we share a bloodline with them. You a little bit too. But
yeah,
one thing I do believe in is whatever your gut's telling you, whatever that feeling is, you trust it and you follow it. And also, You're on a crew here. Everyone's got your back.
Give me a persuasion check. Give me a persuasion check with advantage, actually.
It's 17.
Okay. Simone smiles at you and goes to hand you the glass. I should go check in with the captain and make sure I'm not needed elsewhere.
Hey, and when you do, don't hold back, okay? It's not your job to make heads or tails of what you see, only to see it. And you did a good job.
Thanks. And Simone heads back down from the crow's nest. What is 28 investigation? What is Vox doing?
All anyone right now can hear is just, has anyone seen Vera? Has anyone seen her? She keeps not doing her towel duties. I know it's gross and they're sweaty, but they're just sitting there in a pile, and I've been telling her for days now to wash them. Has anyone seen her?
Roll me a perception check real quick.
11.
On an 11, you hear a little like rustle in the kitchen, and Kurt is starting to talk. What? No, you should add that spot. What? Oh, sorry. Now add that one right there.
Is she in there?
Who? What? Who is?
Vera, have you seen her?
No.
Is she in there with you?
Not in here. Nope. Just me and the soup.
Well, what kind of soup is it?
What kind of soup would you like it to be?
That's a really weird question, and I'm not totally sure. I don't believe you that she's not in there now.
Well, you didn't tell me what kind of soup. It's not, you're not allergic to anything, are you?
Just bullshit.
Well, it's bullshit soup, so don't come in here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Fox is going in there.
Yeah, you see Vera kind of crouching down behind one of the counters, fistful of dried dill in her hand. Kurt looks down. Oh, it is right here. Yes, Vera. You're looking for Vera. She's right here. She's helping me with the bullshit soup.
Mm-hmm.
Needs a lot of dill. A lot of dill to cover up the flavor of the bullshit.
All of it. Okay, we've been over this. I still need your help with cleaning and keeping it tidy. Otherwise, it stinks in there. And we're already having to deal with all this seaweed and the smell of the ocean. It's kind of nice, but not with the piling up of towels.
Okay. Towels. I can wash the towels. Vera sets the dill down and is going to, it's not a bow at all, but there's a little stoop to her posture that is just sort of in deference to you. And she hurries out of the kitchen.
Thank you. And you're a bad influence and a terrible liar.
Well, what can I say? I'm just here for the soup.
I would like to peek my head in and see what kind of soup it is.
It is the loveliest. It's not like a white. There's no dairy base to this chowder. It is like a rich red tomatoey acidic broth, and there's just whatever the crew has kind of been catching as you've gone along. Anytime a net is put down or it is going into this soup, and it smells incredible.
Right.
There's kind
I'm
of
just here for the soup on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Just the perfect amount of fragrant dill coming out of this thing. You don't really know how, but it's not just dried herbs in here. There's fresh. So Kurt is getting fresh herbs from somewhere on this ship out in the middle of the ocean.
I think on noticing that is right around when Perrin wanders into the room.
Lovely.
Oh,
yes, yeah.
Oh.
Hey, just here for the soup, I see.
The bullshit soup, apparently.
Bullshit soup.
that's a
yes.
terrible. Why would you What?
Yeah, why would you, Kurt?
Well, you know how sometimes you give something an ironic name when it's actually very good, and then it becomes fun to call the thing something, who wants to call it, like, everyone's had a nice seafood chowder, but how many of you would have bullshit soup that's been delicious?
No, I would prefer seafood chowder.
Well, you should have
I
been
just
here
can't
when
wait
we
for him
named
to
the soup
shout that
then.
out.
What? Tell me one other food that has a negative sounding name but is in fact delicious.
Frog legs.
Hey, too soon.
Fuck. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I actually forgot that I was there for that. Yeah, no, you're right.
Really
That's,
fucked up.
that's my, no, that's pretty fun. I'm going to go back to making the soup now.
Right. Will you make some sorry for your loss sandwiches to go with that?
Sorry for your lost sandwiches. Got it. Right. Yeah, you want the cucumber this time or no cucumber?
Definitely cucumber.
Definitely cucumber. Got it. Heard.
No, Fox, if you say you want cucumber, it's called sorry for your loss. If you say you want something, he's not going to put it on there.
You see, he
That's
just
the
takes,
loss.
He
What
just
is
takes a cucumber and throws it out the small port window, like out the side of the ship.
Wasteful.
Well, sorry for your loss.
Jesus Christ. Everyone here is insane.
And yet, here you are. Hey, Fox, we had 2 more people who want to join the class. Do we have room for that?
Oh, yeah, I can probably just rearrange and do an extra class, I think, probably.
Okay. How do you feel about pole vault training?
Is this part of your, like, bets and all?
It's, you know what they say.
Is this a con?
Sorry for your loss.
No, we're
I'm...
not doing that.
It's not a con. I'm making sure that they're ready to fight if we need to fight anyone.
I feel like you're just using this as part of the ploy for that, though. I know you've been doing all this gambling.
Yeah. And?
So the pole vaulting is for what part of that?
Oh, well, you know where the 2 walkways overlook the main walkway? So to pole vault across that, it's like 18 feet.
I don't even know how to pole vault, so no.
All right. Wait, what's wrong with gambling, though?
You just, you know what? Nothing. You just take everything from them.
Nothing's wrong with it? Well, I'm not taking it from them. I'm redistributing it.
You do you.
Yeah. Because now they're motivated to help.
Is that what you came here to ask me?
No, I wanted soup.
Yeah, Fox is gonna walk out of that room. Have I, with the 28, have I explored all of the rooms in the list?
On the
List rooms?
on the 28, on the 28.
Karen is going to hand a stack of vouchers to Kurt, by the way.
Oh, this is just
And the
great.
bets.
You got me down on that 10-1 for the, the
Oh, yeah.
right. Okay.
And we're fixing that one, too.
Oh,
Yeah, we're cutting chores for the guy who's taking the fall.
wonderful, fantastic. And we got a 3-1 on the captain.
Right.
For okay.
Yeah.
Great. No, that all looks.
And
that
we're
all
giving
looks
him
good to me.
10% now to pretend like he doesn't know this is happening.
Wonderful, wonderful. This discussion is going on behind you, Vox. On that 28, you have been combing the ship from top to bottom. You've never quite... Oh, hold on. If I don't... I gotta fix something real quick. If I don't turn that off, it will start to bleed in. There we go. So far, you have yet to get a chance every time that you've been down to that base level to investigate the sound that you heard last time. At the base of the ship, you've already found the paludarium as well, that Fauna found in the last session. Opposite the paludarium, there is a long corridor that heads to the rear of the ship.
there's a level of, it's an old ship, and while it's more than seaworthy, that does not mean that there's a couple inches probably of, so it's wet, mucky. There are barnacles and algae kind of like growing on the sides of the corridor down here, about a foot up from the base of the ship. And at the far end of this corridor is large iron-bound door with a massive and intricate lock. You have yet to have gotten a chance to you've seen it out of your peripheral and like done the right job and not acting interested in it when other people are nearby. You have yet to have gotten a chance to be alone and investigate this until now. And you can go ahead and give me a stealth check if you would like to head down there.
Absolutely. And
Wonderful.
what time of day is it?
Time of day, it's getting on towards night. Actually, I'm going to roll a little luck check right now because let's say you want a high number. You want an 11 or higher.
Okay, cool.
That's an 18. The sun has already set. It is night.
Okay. Perfect. Stealth check. Because our armor has advantage on stealth checks.
It does at night.
Beautiful. Okay, well, the first one is a 28. Yeah, we'll go with the first one at a 28.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Night Guard armor.
28 investigation. You're heading down the corridor. No one's down here. You don't see Quinn in the paludarium, perhaps above deck, perhaps eating a meal with the crew. Fauna, Cletus, they're not down here. You haven't seen Ismith all day. At the end of the hall, you reach the door. The sound of the waves down here crashing into the side of the ship, like they're crashing higher than you. So down here, it's almost like there's this muffled sort of like, you can hear them crashing up here. But down here at the base level, it gets a little bit quieter. The sound is lower. There's not as much like high white noise frequency to the sound of the waves. From the other side of the door, you hear a steady sound. Something underneath the waves. A slow rumbling. An exhale. And an inhale. Something very large on the other side of this door.
If I place my hand on the door, is it like a rumble, like a vibration from it?
Give me a perception check.
A 12.
The exhale, inhale, it's not loud enough to rattle the door. Like there's already kind of like a vibration to the waves hitting the ship even down here on the base level.
All right.
It seems more like the sound is coming from something inside the room. Like it's certainly not the room itself, and nothing is pressed up against the door.
How locked is this door? Is it like,
I'll
hey,
tell you,
really
yeah.
don't go in here?
I'll tell
locked,
you
or
on
is
your
it like-
investigation 28, it's fucking locked. and that's a high enough investigation that I will give you in order to like pick this lock and get in here, you would either have to go get the key or you would have to hit a DC 20 on a thieves tool check. It is an incredibly intricate lock. This is a ship created for trade, but also for smuggling. And this is a door that if the captain doesn't want it open, it's hard to open.
Can I use a point?
Can you use a point?
Can I use a point?
To be down there?
I got a 31 on a stealth check.
Yeah. I mean, you tell me when you want to reveal yourself, but you absolutely can.
I think Vox would be like down checking out how intricate of a lock this is and just like trying to hype herself up to believe that she could open it, like making sure she has everything on her and like just sitting here and like talking to herself like literal whisper mumbling like I just
Right over your shoulder. Up to some illegal shit, are we?
holy fucking shit. You came out of nowhere. Okay, you're here now. Do you hear that?
Yeah, that's why I was down here too.
All right, well,
A little worrying that we have some giant, some kind of cargo in the bottom of our ship. Captain did talk about some unmentionables. Hopefully not giant. Do you hear that?
I can just hear it. And since you're down here, should we open it? Because I'm feeling really close to opening it. We should know, right?
Nyx is gonna look at Vox and kind of smirk and like, do you even have to ask? Come on, why else do you think I'm here?
Yeah, Vox is gonna try to unlock that door then. All it takes is a little push.
Give me a thieves tools check. It's your dexterity modifier plus your proficiency. Since you are rogue class, you have proficiency in thieves tools.
That was a nat 20. And do you want all my numbers?
Here's what I'm going to give you on the,
it's a 30.
Oh my
with
god.
My proficiencies.
Okay, here's the deal. On a nat 20, not only can you open this lock, when you are done, you're going to be able to lock it again. Like no one is ever going to know that you were in here.
Still got it.
That is
Damn, I'll say you do.
assuming that you can get the door shut again. Because Vox, in the moment that you open it, it's nighttime. You open the door, and as it slides back into a panel of the ship, not swinging in or out, but rather like going into a hidden panel in the side. Nyx and Vox, you are facing a large, it's not a dungeon. It's not a brig, but it is the closest thing that this ship has. It is a massive windowless room. In the center of the room, measuring, you think if it was not like curled up, measuring almost 13, 14 feet in length, if you include the tail. Let me go to my descriptions real quick for these things so I make sure that I get them right. There you are. You see a massive, kind of almost serpentine form. 6 limbs, the ends of which end in almost like large 3-fingered hands covered in this shimmering white fur, swelling in and out with each breath that it takes. A large, again, like kind of serpentine head, but like almost, there's something about the eyes that are almost like feline, the ways that like there's 2 pairs of eyes, one larger and one smaller. You see,
is that an implication that its eyes are open right now and it's looking? Oh,
there is 2 sets of eyelids. So main ones are open. There's like this white, almost opaque film that looks like a second lid that shuts the other way over both the sets of eyes as it like breathes in and out. Large mouth. You see that there are also these kind of almost like flat, like, I guess more like, not flat, more like almost plating around its mouth that like can, like as it breathes in and out, those open a little bit and then shudder back together. And horns that kind of like curl back in an angular fashion, kind of follow the like just past the shoulder blades on the back, almost like enormous handlebars that you could hold on to. Vox, you can go ahead and give me a history check. Or a nature check, either one.
sorry, my mouse keeps dying. Am I allowed to spend a point on a reroll for that? Okay.
You are?
That was not great for either. Oh, that's much better. That's a 17.
17's
for
good.
Either.
Yeah. Vox, you're looking at a creature kind of akin to, like, it is a smaller, almost more feline version of that thing that you, the keeper, like the creature that you found when you were in the Black Mountain. Nyx, you don't have to roll. You've seen this creature before. Not because you saw its kin, like something, a similar species in the Black Mountain, but because once in your life, when you were very small, there was an emissary that arrived from, like, somewhere else in the Nightlands, and when they arrived, you could not take your eyes off of the Lurico that they rode. These creatures are known by many names in the Nightlands: storm serpents, rock dragons, light horse. Whatever you name them, Lurico are seen as powerful omens and the harbingers of massive storms in the Central Lands. As you open the door, you've both... I'm going to let your stealth checks ride. This thing is still asleep. You would also know right now, Nyx, that the only reason that you can see this thing is because it is night. And it is... Let me look at my chart. I mean, it's still a waxing moon. But if the moon is not, like, risen, these things are usually invisible.
In message in Vox's head, Nyx is gonna say, "Shut the door, shut the door, shut the door."
Yeah, Vox would definitely be in awe of this thing and just slowly, just like...
You shut the door. You're both in the room now with this sleeping Lurico.
Wait, you shut it while on the inside?
Yeah, we would shut it
out.
It's not locked. I mean, you'll be able to, like,
Yeah.
get back out if you want to, but
Nyx would want to shut the door, like see what it is, and shut the door with Vox and Nick and them outside.
On the outside. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You shut the door.
Yeah.
It's quiet enough. It's not
Yeah.
going to wake this thing up.
I have not locked the door yet, though. I want to leave it unlocked. And
Cool.
what is that thing?
How's are they doing with it is a bigger question. They're bringing it across the ocean. I mean, how did it get across the continent?
What is it?
It's a very long story. It's a native creature to Oreth, and one you do not mess with. It's sacred to my people.
So is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I
Because
mean,
it looks like a
hopefully
big thing.
let's it's a very big thing. Let's hope it's a good thing they're bringing it back, but how the hell did it get across the sea to begin with and live? And now it's I need to speak with our captain.
Nyx, give me a luck check. You want an 11 or higher.
18.
Okay. Vox, you also give me a luck check. You want an 11 or higher.
14.
Okay. You're both good. You can continue about your business.
Do you think that talking to the captain is a good thing? I mean, we're on passage right now. He could just as easily just drop us off. I feel like there's got to be someone else we can ask that
I mean, you can
can't
try.
just kick us off a ship.
I'll speak with Simone. If anyone
And
would
I mean-
understand, I feel like she would.
Perrin and Atticus have gotten like really close with the crew too, so maybe we tell them and they can ask around.
That's true. I just really hope that they're not selling this thing.
What does it do? Like, what's the point? It's so big. Why bring it? Why even take it across in the first place just to bring it back? You said it's native.
Questions I don't have the answer to, but I thoroughly plan on finding out.
Well, let's figure that out. I'm gonna lock this back up.
Okay.
Help action just to make sure that if she needs it.
Well, no, you
it's
got that.
done.
You got that nat 20 on it. You can
Cool,
lock
perfect.
it, and it will be as if no one was here.
Beautiful.
Cool. Okay.
Stealth on out of there.
Stealth on out of there. Those stealth checks can ride. You're out of there. The only thing that you leave with is the knowledge that that thing is there, and no one else on board is going to be the wiser. Let me look at my notes.
What is the name of this thing? What kind of species is it?
Lurico.
Lurico?
Yeah.
How do you
Or
spell that?
Lurico. Lur and then OCCO.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then the only other thing you learned about it is visible only. It doesn't have to be in the light of the moon. The moon just has to be like up for it to be visible. Otherwise, this thing would have been invisible. Okay.
Now I know when to go back.
Yeah. Fauna. I need an Arcana check from you.
Aye, aye, Captain. $23.
Okay. 23 is good. On a 23, you are kind of heading. Hold on, let me find my key thing here. Let me ask this, actually. Has Fauna ventured above deck yet? Willingly?
Yeah, I think she is trying to get used to it. So I think she isn't just hiding below deck the whole time. I think she is trying to adjust to being on the ocean and just the ocean in general. Um, I feel like maybe she even tried to climb up to the crow's nest once just for like immersion therapy kind of a
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think she's been spending some time above deck. I think
Okay.
she also like as a creature of nature, like she wouldn't want to just be cooped up down below deck anyway. Like even though she's kind of scared of the ocean, she like want to feel the breeze and stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I will tell you, if this is what you are looking for, um, on that Arcana check, there's a point when you are above deck that you feel something pulling you. Like the pause right when someone looks at you before they're about to speak. Something hangs in the air, pulls you towards the front of the ship.
I mean, I think she would follow that instinct. Also, I don't know if it will apply right now, but just so you know, I do have true seeing activated as a ritual.
Cool. I love that. You head to the front of the ship. Something... Give me a perception check, too.
$25.
25 is very good. You're on the front of the ship. It's where the waves break the hardest. I mean, if there was a better place for immersion therapy on a ship, I don't know of it, because standing here on the bow, there's kind of like there's this top tier where the ship curves up a little bit and comes to a point. There is like another point, like a secondary deck sort of underneath that one with a railing, and then the rest of the ship overhangs it, so it's kind of almost this little indentation in the front of the ship where you can like stand. There's a railing in between it, space like just high enough that you can get under there, and the rest of the ship crops out over your head. But here you can feel the spray of the waves as they hit the front of the boat. On the front of the ship, there is a truly massive collection of barnacles. You can see them. The way that the waves wash up on the ship, like, they're very much alive. And in the light of the waxing moon that was shining down, you can see as they open those little like tendrils that come out to filter feed, basically, as the waves wash up on the ship, they're getting whatever little bits that they can. This massive colony of barnacles is just almost like breathing, as they're all sort of synced up in a rhythm with each other each time the waves crash. And you feel that sensation again, like something is about to speak.
Horizon.
you hear the mussels. All these little voices, like the sounds of barnacles popping and the sound of like ocean foam, and 2 words: horizon and storm. 25 perception check. You look out. A flash. Distant. Coming from the sky down into the ocean. It's enough that you can see, even it's pretty far away, but you see the strike and like a glow in the water. A massive wave hits the ship, and just underneath the sound of that wave, you hear the distant rumble of thunder. There's a massive storm on the horizon.
I think she's like probably almost falls over when the giant wave hits the ship, because it just like side, hits it abreast.
Yeah.
Well, that's the proper ship terminology, but and so she like steadies herself, but then I think she would go to find the captain to make sure that he knew that the storm was coming, if he hadn't already seen it.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
18.
18. Another massive wave hits, even bigger than the first, and you have to like grab onto the railing to not be. A good portion, like a good foot of water, washes up onto the part of the deck where you are and surges back out through the balcony, and you're just holding on to that railing. Yeah, if you're going to find the captain, I mean, this ship is headed straight into the storm. Captain is like above deck at the wheel. You see that Simone not up in the crow's nest, like the half, usually the first mate would be up there. Like, there is no one currently up in the crow's nest. Give me an insight check as you approach the captain.
Is Atticus still sunbathing?
I mean, in the nighttime, Atticus, you tell me, did you fall asleep on deck?
Yep.
Great. Are you still?
He's just rolling back and forth on the deck as the ship is like going over the waves.
There's a bowl
He's, like,
of
not
chowder
waking up.
that Kurt set in his chest that is still just sort of like going back and forth.
No,
Atticus is
Call
really
it what
good
it
at just
is.
he's
It's a
asleep,
bowl of
but he's
bullshit.
holding it. Yeah. He's just taking bites.
Oh, so you are
He's like it kind of asleep, but kind of not. Yeah,
Great.
he's like half in, half out.
Lovely.
Sleep eating.
Yeah, what was the insight check?
Oh, 15.
Okay. 15 insight check. You approach the captain. Doesn't seem to like really even see you approach. His eyes are fixed on the horizon. It's almost like he's not there. Just sort of glazed over.
Is feeling the ship rock this way justification enough for Perrin to run up on deck? Honestly, probably Nyx too.
These big waves, give me a perception check.
Easy. 25.
Okay, if I roll that as well.
Yeah.
21.
Absolutely, both of you are feeling like an intensity pickup in the waves.
Yeah.
While I'm down
Perrin
below
goes for the deck.
and
Right.
while I'm down below and feeling this and before I run up, do I hear anything from the other side of the door? From the little girl?
Before you head up, as these waves are hitting, perception check. High enough. You hear the deep breathing stop. A scrabbling like something getting to the floor. and then just pacing back and forth.
I think Nyx is just going to place a hand against the door for a second, and like take a breath, and then they're going to run back up the stairs. Or
Vox is with you, so if you start running and Vox would run.
Yep.
I think Fauna is like shaking, like trying to wake up the captain from whatever.
Yes, I mean, I think the moment that you touch him, he...
Fauna, is there a problem?
What? Why are you steering us into this giant storm?
What are you...
you see the captain...
Oh my god. God.
All crew! And a bunch of nautical language, because I fucking forgot again to look up nautical language, but he begins shouting to the crew, like taking sails down. You see him hard correcting...
Trim the mainsail.
Trim the mainsail. Fucking rig the jib.
Abaft the beam.
Abaft. That's not one.
That's not a word.
I don't think beams are
That's a real
supposed to
one.
move. If a beam moves on a ship, you're
That's
in
a
fucking
real one.
trouble.
That's a
Really?
real one. Yeah.
Tyler sent us a whole list.
God damn it. So
The
everyone
main
knows
mast,
him,
the
but
main
Light the
sail.
beacons.
yeah. Ship starts to wheel around so that it's like it's still going to go into the storm, but it is going to go into the storm not directly now, as it sort of like changes course to come in at an angle. I think now is as good a time as any to take our 10-minute break, and then when we come back, we will be getting into the storm. So we will be back in 10.
Can I ask one question before we go?
Yeah.
Does Tiny Hut, the spell, stay stationary on the ship if I were to cast it on the surface of the ship?
Yeah, the Tiny Hut, I think the way that Tiny Hut works is it would be truly anchored
To
to...
the surface?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. I will say this before we start this next portion. We are going to actually run this next part in an initiative order. Instead of, I actually want to do a thing that I started doing in the other session too, because it's not quite combat. We're actually just going to go, initiative order is automatically just going to fall in the way that your dexterity scores work, not your modifiers, but your total score. So I could, does Vox have the highest? What's Vox's?
I have a 17.
17. Does anyone have higher than a 17 on initiative? Okay. So Vox, it's always going to be yours first. Is it Nyx or Perrin next?
Your raw dexterity is 17. My raw is 18.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Just kidding.
I'm sad
So
because I rolled a 20. What a waste. What a waste.
Perrin, what a way. You should have saved that 20. So we got Perrin, Vox, and then I would assume Nyx.
Yeah, 16.
Okay. And then I think
I'm
Fauna's...
also 16.
You're also 16. Okay. Basically, then the way that will work is, like, Fauna, you can decide between the two of yourselves, like, who wants to go each time we get to that section. And you can keep it that way, or you're allowed to change it too. And then I'm putting Atticus there at the end. Thanks to that Arcana check and reading the omen that the muscles were speaking in the side of the boat, you get a couple benefits to this. One is that the DC, you're not going directly into this storm, so the DCs for certain things are going to be lowered from what they were, which is very nice. The second thing is that before you hit this storm, you have essentially a minute before we go into initiative order to prepare. So if you, I don't know if anyone has casting time for something that's a minute that they want to do.
I have a minute cast time on arriving on the deck.
You have 1 minute, yes.
What is the moon phase?
Before the storm hits. Moon phase is waxing. I think we are 3 nights away from the full moon. Oh no, I'm sorry. That would have been at the end of the week. And I said this was a couple days. We are 1 night away from so still waxing, but full moon will be the following night.
On entering the deck, Perrin's going to look around and see the crew scrambling around, but also see the party, and he's going to yell to the party, "All of you with me now!" And he's going to run to it's going to be very forceful. He's going to sound much more authoritative than I just did. Like, picture that, but with, like, dice rolls attached to it. And he's going to run to where the captain is and start casting Tiny Hut directly over the top of the captain.
Ooh, okay.
And with the party running, hopefully, towards him.
What is the casting
I'm already
time?
standing
Is the
right by
casting
the
time on that
captain.
1
Oh.
minute? Or is it 10
1
minutes?
minute exactly.
Lovely. Okay. A big move. Is Lehman Hut specific on the amount of people that can fit inside?
9.
9.
But it's
Okay.
only people who are inside of it to begin with. What, June? What? What, June? What?
Looks
What?
like you rolled a little something
What,
for yourself
June?
there.
What?
I rolled
Uh,
a nat 1, Elijah.
Why don't you tell me what you were
I
rolling
rolled
for?
a nat 1.
What?
Damn it.
Were you rolling to see if you were up in the crow's nest?
Did we get a no? It's 9 creatures. Anyone who's outside of it can't enter it, though. All other creatures and objects are barred
Okay.
from passing through it.
Great.
Spells can't cast through it. The atmosphere is, and here's the description, the atmosphere is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather outside. So weather cannot enter.
Weather cannot enter. You also said spell effects cannot enter, correct? spells
right.
can't
It cannot
enter.
extend through the dome or pass through it. But we can leave it and
Oh.
re-enter it.
Okay. Okay.
I would like to do something before the storm takes place.
Yeah, you got
Just
1
as
minute.
I'm running up and seeing the storm, Vox is going to touch her mother's talisman. And It is by uttering command words under my breath, I invoke an arcane shield to protect an ally's mind. And
Amazing.
I am most worried with the storm about Fauna, because I know Fauna has been struggling, so I'm going to cast an arcane shield on her mind.
Okay. You cast Arcane Shield on Fauna's mind. I think that gives advantage on wisdom saves, correct?
Yeah.
Beautiful. How long does that last for?
You did not say. It just says that I can't use it again until a long or short rest.
It's because it lasts until, like, it lasts for the long rest or until you use it again. Very good. Okay.
Also, the dome it has to be opaque from the outside, but it's fully transparent from the inside, and the outside can be any color I choose.
It can be you can, from the inside, you're saying you can see out?
It is perfectly transparent from the inside.
Fuck me. Did they make this spell for this situation?
To protect the captain of a ship, basically.
While he can still see and steer? Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It's pulsing rainbow from the outside.
Okay. Before we're going to make a few more rolls, before we get into initiative order, it was your roll.
It's not time.
Yeah, it was your roll. I'll let you come to it when you come to it. Okay. Here is what I'm going to say. I want each of you, before initiative starts, you're going to be rolling a luck check for me. The entire crew is...
Do I get my minute?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you've got a minute. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to cast Primordial Ward on myself.
Okay, cool.
Can you polymorph an inanimate object or only a living thing?
Has to be a living thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a different spell for something else.
Just check.
Can I
Specifically
carry over
a creature.
my initiative roll into my luck check?
It was a net. No, because I gotta ask for the roll. No, we're not gonna set that precedent. That's ridiculous.
Questions.
Sorry for your loss.
Sorry for your loss.
Bullshit.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Atticus, you're casting Primordial Ward. Vox, you've already cast the rune for Fauna. Perrin, perhaps the certainly in this campaign, but the most useful time that Leomund's tiny hut has ever been cast.
Like, it's a spell designed to prevent
like
nightly encounters from happening.
Oh yeah.
That's really the only use for it.
This is pretty incredible.
Nightly encounters sounds
like monsters. Yeah. This spell this spell would prevent Fauna's nightly encounters for sure. Because Perrin's just 8 feet away from you across the well-lit dome that he's inside of.
That would prevent
at
anybody's nightly
encounters. Okay. All of you have a minute. You've got plenty of time to get over there to Perrin. There are 5 of you, plus the captain. That makes 6. That means that there are room for 3 more people. Even though initiative order hasn't started yet, I'm going to do these luck checks in the order of initiative. Vox.
Perrin.
Roll a luck check for me.
Perrin
it is Perrin.
18.
Yeah. Perrin, roll a luck check for me.
It's me. 15.
Okay. Does it specify 9
9 creatures of
people?
medium size or smaller. Creatures.
Okay.
I don't know if you count Amos and the cat in that or not.
Creatures. Perrin.
We're full then? 5 of
Amos-
us, captain, and
Amos-
our 3.
Amos makes it in there with you. That puts us to 7. Vox, roll me a luck check.
15.
15. Brightburn darts in there with you. That makes 8. Nyx, roll me a luck check.
3.
Okay. Fauna. Roll me a luck check.
Is it just a flat d20? What's the luck?
Just a flat d20.
Okay.
You want an 11 or higher.
I don't want to do it. Was an at one.
Wow.
No, Cat, no.
Atticus.
This is the one where Cat dies.
You cast Primordial
I've been
Ward.
son.
You are one of the last people, like, running for the tiny hut. So, like, running to Perrin's casting point. You heading in there will make 8. So, still room for one more. Give me a perception check.
Uh, 19.
On a 19. Atticus, as you are running towards it, boat is swinging around. Already the waves from the storm are beginning to crash and hit the boat. It's like surging up onto the deck. Each time it happens, there's 3 to 4 inches of just sort of foam and salt water that sweeps over the deck. Nothing truly overtaking it yet, but the waves are only getting bigger. As one of these crashes happens, though, you see towards the back of the boat, scampering along next to the railing, you see the cat heading for the hut. Wave hits. You see, in the darkness of night, that small form. Form's gone as the wave washes off the side of the ship. On the 19, you see on the other side of the ship, Vera descending quickly from the rope rigging as fast as she can. And as she's sliding on the rope, a wave hits. She's no longer on the rope after the wave hits. What does Atticus do?
Yeah, Atticus just looks at the party and is like, later. And he just fucking goes and runs to dive off the end to try and save those people.
No, Atticus, you got to tell me which side of the boat are you jumping off on?
Oh, fuck. Shit.
You got a 19. You saw them both.
Damn. I just named the cat Cat. It's got to be the cat. I got to go for the cat.
Okay. Perception 19. Atticus, you run to the side. You're just do you do anything on the run? Are you just diving off the boat into a storm?
I want to put a little flair on this, and Atticus just goes, cannonball, and he just does a cannonball into the ocean.
How close is
Try and
this to
sink
Hand
down.
off a rope or something as he's like going, like running across the ship. How are you gonna get back in?
Is it like one of those life preserver donuts?
How close is this to the spell completing?
Spells as Atticus spell is complete. Atticus would have made it there had he not stopped, then seen what happened, and instead of running and making it in there as the spell completes, Atticus is running to the side. So in this instant the spell completes, you can still see him. The thing's transparent.
It's transparent. Do we all see the cat and Vera get knocked over?
Both of you.
Could I try?
Vox would not.
Could I try
let-
with since my armor can grow? Can I try and basically do not like a, because I can kind of do ensnaring strike. Could I flavor it to kind of be a rope to my armor leaves vines for me tethered to the boat?
So you want your
I'll
armor
stab
to
my sword
appear,
into
and
the ground.
This is
Yeah.
I don't think you have enough control of stuff on your armor yet. I will say on the 19 perception, you do see all the sails have been the crew did their work. The sails have been lashed. There's loose rigging on the ship. You're certainly able to like grab one of the ropes on the ship as you jump off.
Yeah, I do that.
But
then
roll
I
up to see
run
if it's tied to anything.
Should I? I'll roll luck. I'll roll luck on that.
Roll luck. I just don't get I'll say a 5 or lower. I don't know why there would just be a loose rope above the ship on a storm, not tied to something.
Oh, thank God. I thought it was a 1 for a second, but it's a 7.
Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, rope's tied to something. I mean, you are not the only ones above deck. Like, you see Maya has also, like, lashed herself, like, tied around a leg, is, like, lashed to the deck. There's a few other crew members up here that are tied on as well. Really, the only two that weren't is the cat, who's running to the hut, and Vera, who is up there, like, fixing rigging before coming down. Anyone who wants to in the hut can roll me a perception check to see if they also see it.
Yeah.
I rolled a 19.
You see both happen.
I see my girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
I rolled a 31.
Jesus Christ.
I rolled a 23.
I'm not in the hut. Can I roll?
Yeah, do you want to tell me where Nyx is?
I mean, especially if Atticus was like sleeping before this, like they would have gone on deck and run to find or get him and kind of like pull him along with them, along with the group. And so if everyone's running to the hut that Perrin is casting and Atticus is going off the side, they're like kind of stuck in the middle, like looking between.
Okay.
And I think are gonna go help Atticus.
Okay. So you see Atticus diving off this way. You're gonna see. You're on deck. You're more than welcome to make a perception check too.
Can I?
Jesus
Sorry,
Christ.
just before that happens, because I didn't know that we could see what was happening because I just assumed that Atticus was the only one seeing it. But I don't know if I can do this now because it would like retcon what Atticus' decision just was. But if Fauna saw the cat going over the side, she would use polymorph to turn the cat into a bird so it could fly and not hit the ocean. So like if Atticus saw that, then maybe he would make a different decision. But I don't know if you'll let me like redo all that. I just didn't say that before because I think
polymorph can be cast instantaneously, right? It doesn't take a casting time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
It takes concentration to cast it, but there's no like time amount that it's not like a 10-minute or anything.
Okay.
According to my sheet.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Because Atticus did already say that he jumped off, but you can definitely cast polymorph. You cast polymorph, so Atticus, you see the cat go off. You go to jump after the cat, like holding the rope off the ship and say cannonball. As you say cannonball and dive off the side, you see an albatross, jet black, just come sailing up past you and like look down at you as it goes.
Is that one gift from the Umbrella Academy?
I used a point and got a 15.
Fauna!
Nyx, I mean, both you and Vox, Paranot, you see all this too. I'm going to tell you what else happens on a 31 because that's fucking wild. That it's a 31 and it didn't even have to be a nat 20. Nyx and Vox, you both see Vera be washed off the rope too, but Nyx, you are not in the hut yet. You're far closer.
I think Nyx is gonna look at Vera, look at Vox, and just kind of like make eye contact, and they probably both know. And Nyx is gonna run and grab one of the ropes that's like kind of tied to the mast and like in the rigging, right? And they're going to attach it to themselves and go jump off and hope that Vox will pull them back.
Okay. Here's how this is going to go now. We are going to go into our initiative order.
I just rolled because that was a spell. So if you want to know what I rolled.
Yes, I do. Actually, give me the... God, there's so much shit happening all at once. I love it. No, I love it. Give me... Let me pull up your chart. What'd you roll in the D100?
I rolled 17.
Okay. Hold on a sec. It's pulling up. Pull up, chart, pull up. There you go. Okay, 17. Okay. Okay, great. Roll
Great?
2d. Yeah, roll 2d4 for me.
Oops. Went off the side. Total, or you want to know individual numbers?
Total.
4.
Fauna, for the next 4 hours, anytime you attempt to speak, it is replaced by bird song and animal noises. This does mean that any spells that you have with a verbal component will not be able to be cast.
Awesome.
I will. You can tell me which ones you want to try and cast, and I'll let you know if they have a verbal component or not.
Okay.
But yeah, you speak bird and animal now. Okay. Starting at the beginning of initiative, like just to set the scene, Vox, you see what happens. You see Nyx look at you, dive off with the rope. Atticus, you are already like actively off the side of the boat, but you are holding onto a rope as you see a black albatross like go soaring past you and look back down, like head jerk. Perrin, we're starting with you at the beginning of the initiative order. With a 31 perception check, you see all of this take place. You see the rest of the crew that is above deck. You know there's crew below deck. Obviously, unless the ship goes down, they're going to be safe. Everyone above deck, with the exception of Vera and the cat, already tied down. Already good to go unless a rope snaps or whatever. The rest of you, all in here in the hut, you see the captain like being able to see out with perfect clarity into the storm. And on your 31, the noise on board the ship is deafening. Thunder, like, crashes around you. The lightning strikes, some near to the ship, some in the distance, make visibility hard as your eyes are constantly adjusting to darkness, then light, then darkness. The sound of the waves hitting more deafening than the peals of thunder. Through all of that noise, you hear something else. A single note ringing out, almost like a song, beneath the noise of the storm, the noise of the waves. And the note is increasing in strength. If you want, you can give me a nature check.
That was a sure, why not? And I got a 13.
You got an 18.
Okay. 18. Nyx doesn't hear this. So this is just Perrin making this nature check. Perrin on an 18. You hear the note. What in all of Earth can make a song like this that rings out? You never experienced them in your time on the open water as a tradesperson. You mostly kept to, like, between the Citrus Isles and Namira. These entities are said to be further out in the open water, beyond where most sail, except for those who make their way to the Nightlands or who venture further out into the open sea. A siren. An entity that enchants any who come too close to be captured by its song, and afterwards never seen or heard from again. Thankfully, in this hut, the enchantment cannot reach you, but you hear the song nonetheless.
Okay.
And it's your turn in the initiative order if you have an action that you want to take.
Why does only Perrin hear the song?
He got a 31 on perception. So
right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. I can't leave the hut or the hut dissipates.
And the sirens will get you.
God.
And half the party cannot enter the hut. Perrin is going to... Oh, I mean, he's always wearing his pack, so he's going to go ahead and create some additional tethers that can attach to inside the hut and toss them out. I think he's got enough rope, I mean, presumably to reach the edge of the ship or where... Who went over on the side towards Vera?
Fair. Nyx jumped off towards
Nyx
Vera.
did.
Atticus jumped off towards the cat. Now the
Yeah,
albatross.
so Perrin is going to hand one end to Vox and tie the other end to the steering column. And while he's doing this, he's going to kind of relay, like, I'm staying here. Anyone who is in here when this went up is safe. But as of right now, I think Nyx and Atticus can't enter. I think I've cast a spell before, so I don't think any of the characters are surprised specifically about the effects. But Perrin is basically like pointing to Vox and being like, "Go help Nyx, go save your person here, tie these ropes together, whatever." But he's also gonna send Amos out to get eyes on Atticus.
Okay, amazing. Amos looks at you. Okay, and darts out.
And actually, also, Perrin is going to look at the captain and be like, "Hey, man, I got this. I've steered in a storm before. Go help your guys."
Right. We'll check below deck and make sure everything...
And you see him is going to... I think there's a rope in... There's one close to the wheel. Like, a captain knows to keep ropes like that nearby. Is going to, like, tether, leave himself an anchor, and, like, take a breath and head out as well. So Perrin, it's going to be you at the wheel. With you at the wheel, I will need two things then. We're going to call this... God, I think to keep the course correct, the captain's already put you on course. I think it's just going to be...
Can I make a flavor suggestion for the captain? Can we say that rather than him having a rope, he's got, like, emergency climber rigging that he slips on, and they have like poles that they can lash onto?
Yeah.
Feel like the crew would have a way to be safe without all tangling each other.
Yeah. He's gonna head up there with that. What I need from Perrin right now is two things. I need a dexterity saving throw. Just because you're inside this hut doesn't mean that the ship is not being, like, thrashed around. So I still need a dexterity save. DC for this is just 14.
26.
26.
Easy.
Yeah,
I got
no
a plus
problem.
8 on that bad boy.
Cool. 26. I also need, in order to keep the ship correct and not have it start steering more, like, pulled into the storm, I just need an athletics check. Same DC. 14.
14 on the dot.
Beautiful. You keep the Eventide sailing true. Perrin, that is going to be your turn. Here's what I will say now that you've taken over the wheel. That is going to be your turn every time. It doesn't mean you can't do things like make perception checks or shout out orders. If you take a hand off the wheel to do something else, the ship will actively leave its course. Perrin, that's your turn. Order goes to you, Vox. What's Vox doing?
Yeah, Vox getting this rope that Perrin has tied or given to her is tying it to herself. And she is also, as my bonus action, I am using Swiftness of the Storm. Which
Lovely.
Very perfect timing to use that one for the first time.
Yeah.
So I have advantage on dexterity checks and dexterity saves. I have an extra d6 to weapons for lightning damage, and my base move speed is doubled. So I am just very quickly going to run out to where Nyx jumped from.
Yeah.
Okay, for 60 feet. Do I make it there?
Oh, easy. No problem. You are
Perfect.
like...
You beat Nyx there.
Like lightning in the storm. You, like, almost appear at the side of the ship. In this moment, you're approaching the ship. You are tethered in, but I still need a dexterity save to keep your footing.
No worries.
DC is 14.
It's with advantage.
Yeah.
The first one is an 18, but let's just see. The second one is 27. Or 26, sorry.
Lovely. Sure of foot the whole way. You get to the side. Give me a perception check to spot Nyx.
That is a 16.
16. You see Nyx holding onto the rope. On a 16, you see Nyx because Nyx just jumped off. On a 16, you don't see Vera in this moment.
Okay. So my next question is, as someone that has been under the effects of a siren song before, is it familiar to me? Do I hear it?
On a 16, I don't think you do hear it. The noise of the storm drowns it out, and you are so focused on like, okay, I've got Nyx. Where the fuck is Vera?
Yeah. Okay, well, with that, I can see Nyx. I can't see Vera. I am going to pull out the star. And the star casts a bright silvery light in a 10-foot radius and the dim light for an additional 20 feet at will.
Yeah.
So Vox pulls out the star tied down and just goes and like leans over the edge and does a scan to see if I can see Vera with that light.
I'll let this can give advantage to that perception check. So give me one more roll on that perception check using the light. I really like this.
That was an 18 on that one.
18. You hold out the star. You see Nyx like already in the water, like bobbing up, rope going down into the water. About 20 feet from Nyx, but swiftly being carried away by the speed of the waves. You see just one hand barely above water and the face of Vera. She's about 20 feet away from Nyx.
I think... Oh... Yeah, I think that Vox would do this. She's grown really close to Vera and really cares about her. Does she look conscious to me?
Yeah, she looks conscious. She looks like she's actively like trying to fight the current, but this is not a current that can be fought. I mean, if Nyx wasn't attached to it, like thankfully attached to a rope, you'd be losing both of them. But Nyx is attached to a rope.
Yeah. Vox is going to first shout down at Vera and say, "You better catch this." And she is going to toss the brightly lit star to Vera and then just look down at Nyx and go follow that light.
Beautiful. You give me... We're just going to call this an attack roll. Just needs to be a 10 or higher to like get it, and I'm just gonna make just a basic dexterity check for Vera to catch it. Let me know what your roll is, because it'll lower the... Is it a nat 20? Vera's not going to make a roll. You cast it. All of you just see an arc of light out from the ship perfectly through the storm, and that one hand that is grasping up grabs the light. And Nyx, you see for one moment Vera's face illuminated before a wave passes over, but you can still see, even from within the center of the wave, as it surges over Vera's head, that light. She is holding the star. Vox, I'm going to say that's your turn. Next in the initiative order, Nyx, it's you.
I mean, Nyx is gonna try and swim towards Vera and towards the light.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go with that first.
Okay. Let me say this. So you're not trying to like fighting. You don't have a swim, like a built-in swim speed. Fighting the current would be impossible. Thankfully, you do have that anchor. Swimming with the current, doable, but it's still going to be difficult to get to Vera this turn. You've got the tether. I'm going to call it the same DC as it is for everyone else to like fight this storm. It's going to be a DC 14 athletics check to make it to Vera.
Will it count as my action to do that?
It will count as your movement.
Okay, we'll try it. Oh, that is a 2.
On a 2, you start to swim, Nyx. As you start to swim, from behind you, you feel like you're still, I mean, you're above water, you're not in it, but you feel this surge start to happen, and you, like, your position has changed. You're now, like, looking down, and you realize you're in the middle, like, at the height of this surge, and it is crashing down. As it crashes down, it was a 2 on the die. What was the total for the athletics?
I mean, it's a 2 with the total. I have a -1 to athletics.
Okay. Okay. Nyx, this wave begins to crash with you at its peak. As it hits the water, you probably go like, still, you've got the rope on you. You tethered yourself, but you are 10 feet below water. You're going to take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing hits, and it just like, this side of your ear just goes to white noise. Under the water, everything seems to slow down. You can see like lightning illuminating it, like kind of in the peripheral of your vision, the undercarriage of the ship. It's almost calm here underneath. And looking straight ahead of you, still about 10 feet away, you see Vera under the water too, still holding the dagger, like both of you illuminated.
I think, like, with just the chaos of the water and, like, life or death stakes, and knowing just how many people are A, over the side, and B, actively in the storm too, and drifting farther and farther away, like, it is panic in them that is getting stronger and stronger. But the moment that they are crashed under the water and like into that relative peace, I think they almost like flash back to when they were first like learning how to swim in the sea when they were a kid. And the first time that they got absolutely tumbled by a wave, and that same like washing machine effect, and then like peace afterwards, and you can see it rolling over you. And they are going to kind of drift there for a second and change their focus from the crashing waves around them to what little of the moon they can see above. And I'm going to cast control water with a doubled range, so 600
Beautiful.
feet.
Oof.
And I'm going to, if I can maintain concentration, do it for as long as possible, which I did the math is about almost 12 miles. If I can maintain it for the full duration. And I'm going to try and calm the water around 600 feet around the ship.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at control water right now. Obviously there's nothing in here that's like, oh, you can get rid of it, but there's all this different stuff here that you can do. Here's what I'm going to say. We're going to make this... I don't want to make an Arcana check. I think this is your pure, like, your spell casting ability. It's your pure power. The higher that you get, the more you can, like, so it's going to be a check using your wisdom modifier, you're a sorcerer, your charisma modifier added to this. If you can get a 12 or higher, you're going to lower the difficulty DC of those, like, dexterity saves for everyone by 2 as you significantly calm things. If you can get a 15 or higher, you can lower the DC to just a 10, and you can also, like, use that to, like, basically put you and Vera in the same space, like, to control water enough to do that. If you can get a 20 or higher on a spellcasting check, you can completely eliminate all effects of the storm for, like, what was it, like a half a mile around the boat? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's 600 feet every 6 seconds. So if, like,
Yeah.
it's not going to eliminate wind or anything. So,
Right.
like, if we're, like, still cruising,
Yep.
we should be protected for about 12 miles.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me that spellcasting check.
And you said charisma mod, not
Yeah,
save?
your charisma modifier added to it.
This is important. I'm going to use a point for that. That's 23.
Hey, June, do you want to play poker anytime?
Get it.
Play poker?
Why don't you tell me what this looks like?
I mean, I kind of did leading up to it, but I think Nyx almost just, like, instead of fighting the waves and trying to swim, just, like, surrenders and kind of floats onto their back and almost, like, pulsating, like, a ripple effect out of them is just going to be this final wave that just pushes everything else out and maintains that, like, wall of control around them. And it's just, like, perfectly, like, glassy still water around the ship. Still wind, still rain,
Still wind and rain,
chaos,
still
storm,
thunder and lightning, but the waves. There's one last swell that rocks the boat, and then all of you feel the boat go still. Not even rocking side to side, as if you are sailing on a lake. Nick's floating there in the water, like, Vera is now there, like, above you, within arm's reach, holding the light. You don't even have to do anything. Like, the tether's still attached to you. Vera reaches out and grabs the tether and just, like, you're still both underwater, but gives you a nod. Like, I've got a hold of the tether. Everything settles down. Thunder still peals above, but I think here on the boat, there's no more crash of the waves. It's just thunder, lightning, and rain hitting the deck. Vox, you see the sea go glassy in an instant, and that light still glowing beneath the water. Albatross still the albatross goes and just sort of like the cat as the albatross just sort of goes and lands right there on the crow's nest on the top of the ship, and kind of like shakes itself off, looks down and can talk to you from a distance, Fauna. Hey, can I come in that hut? It's awful out here.
Actually, I was really hoping you could fly ahead and chart a course for us out of the storm.
Oh my god. Why can't the little yellow one do it?
Because you're a much bigger bird, and you're an ocean bird now.
Love that you guys are both speaking bird though, because Aaliyah can't talk and anything.
No, because we're communicating. We're communicating telepathically.
The
so
cat
we're not,
doesn't notice anything is different.
Doesn't notice anything is different.
I'm
Like
not
you're
saying
speaking
anything out loud.
telepathically, but you're making bird sounds at the same time.
Why would I be
That's-
speaking out loud if
'cause
I'm
it's
communicating
funnier.
telepathically?
Yeah. Cat sighs, sees that little yellow glint against the storm clouds, and takes off swooping after Amos in front of the ship.
That's a real big bird. Where did that come from?
Oh, I can't say anything. Oh wait,
Whoa,
can I talk
fuck.
to Perrin?
What the fuck?
You
Perrin
can.
can speak with animals, so I could communicate with Perrin.
It's true.
Lana, did you smoke something today? What the fuck? It's
Just-
okay. If you ever, you can always tell me if you're experimenting with substances.
I don't
Bucks-
need to. I have this going on right now.
Before we get to Atticus, Vox, give me an athletics check real quick. Just a real low seed, just to like help Vera and Nyx get back on the ship using the tether.
17.
17.
Wait, does Vox have any actions left to turn into a big giant?
I don't turn into a giant anymore.
Yeah.
I
We
have
got
swiftness of storm.
Swiftness of Storm. We got different runes now.
I see.
Yeah, different
We're in our
runes.
Arc 3 era. No problem. You Nyx, you are like holding onto the rope too. You and Vera are getting hauled back up on the side of the ship. Atticus.
Wait, what about me?
We're not really in initiative order anymore.
Oh,
Like we're
okay.
leaving initiative. There's no more danger from the storm. Nyx completely like you're good. It's just rain and thunder now. Mirko is like heading back. I mean, Perrin, you can keep the wheel if you want. But Atticus, you hit the water. You do a cannonball, so you're not standing immediately. You're like 10 feet under. You're holding on to the tether. You look over. You see a light cast into the water. I think even from this distance, you can see dimly illuminated first Vera and then Nyx hitting the water. And then you feel, even from down here, everything goes still. The surface above, calm. And honestly, it's a little bit peaceful. The noise of the storm is deafened here underwater. You see that light being hauled up. You realize, like, connected to a tether. Seems like they're already safe. Give me an Arcana check.
$24.
24. 24, no problem. You realize you realize why the storm calmed and why it calmed so quickly as you see Nyx floating there on their back. Or not floating, rather just like relaxing and surrendering to the water. It's Nyx. An entire massive storm for like hundreds of feet in every direction instantly calmed. Roll me a perception check.
My eyes aren't what they used to be. But I rolled a natural 20.
Holy shit.
Let's go.
Oh shit. I think the water gave me cataracts surgery. Holy shit.
You look down. Eyes weren't what they used to be, but as you're open in the salt water, a light far below, not like the silvery light of the dagger to your left. Something deep down in the darkness. Moving, weaving back and forth, growing brighter. You realize it's coming towards you, and it's coming fast. Emerging out of the darkness, a light hanging out over its head, almost like this, kind of like this bony carapace that surrounds its face and like angles the light out and over. This large bioluminescent light brings into your vision a massive, wide, like peeled back face. Its mouth and cheeks extend so much further back than they should, almost towards the back of the head. And you see, not sharp, but what look to be almost human teeth, but rows upon rows of them that go back. A like massive tongue that is tucked back, wide but most likely blind eyes. They're just like a solid milky white and kind of a little bit further back on the head than they should be. No nose, but still almost like a human skull shape to the face. No limbs, but a long, almost 20 feet eel-like body that curls back from this thing, and what looks to be almost some kind of human rib cage darting at you. In the Atticus, this thing is coming, and it is coming fast. What does Atticus do?
Like assessing my surroundings.
Amos is overhead.
I'm like, nah, this thing is faster than I can swim. I feel like I could.
Hello?
Like it would catch. It
Are
would
you a
catch
robot?
me.
You sound like a demon.
It was so weird. It fixed itself. It was, your audio did a weird
Yeah.
thing. It's good now.
Oh, mine did.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's good now, though.
I mean, like, okay, cool. Just from like assessment, I can't outswim this thing. I feel like it's probably moving too fast. Do I perceive it as a threat or like an animal's curiosity?
Nat 20 perception check. Usually this would be an insight, but on a nat 20 perception check, I'll give you this thing's behavior. It is fast, it is predatory, and but it's not a dumb animal. You see like the way that it is approaching you and the speed that with it, like an animal would, like, you just hit the water.
Mm-hmm.
This thing was waiting, and a creature that lives down deep in the darkness of the ocean doesn't know to wait, hoping that somebody will drop. Like, this thing was waiting for you to fall off the ship. It is intelligent, but it is moving like a predator.
Hmm. I think Atticus would like know that Nyx is in the water, so I think he would just swim away opposite direction of Nyx to like give them space, but kind of like slowly like backpedal so its eyes are on it.
Yeah, give me an athletics check to see how fast you can swim in this water. It will determine how far you get away and how long it takes this thing to catch up with you.
+16 +8, so 24 again.
Atticus, it's not the first time you've been in a similar situation. And you are swimming, this time without wearing armor. So you are swimming as fast as you possibly can. And Atticus, it's pretty fast. Away from the ship. Give me one last thing before we cut back up to the ship. Just give me you're going to give me a constitution save just to see how good of a job you're going to, like, you're underwater too right now while you're like swimming fast. So
can we get a length roll on Atticus's rope too?
Ooh, yeah.
Roll for length and girth.
What's the constitution save?
21.
21. No problem.
15 plus 6.
Give me one last thing. I guess give me a luck check for that rope. So just a flat D20.
12.
12. You are like, you're going fast. The rest of you up on the ship, I mean, time and initiative order passes so quick. Like, it's been about 10, 15 seconds. No one has seen Atticus resurface yet. Before anyone else up here does anything, like, you're getting Nyx back up on the ship. You've got Vera back up on the ship. 12 luck check. This thing is close and gaining, but you are making good time, Atticus. Let me ask this. The sea is calm around you. You hit the end of your rope. Do you untie the rope?
No.
Okay.
I stare this thing down.
You stare this thing down. It's going to make contact with you. I mean, everyone else, though, you're above. I think before you go, like, this is all happening so quick. You're all up on deck. Atticus, this thing is coming in. That was your move action, though. So I will actually grant you, like, this thing is going to make contact with you this round still. Especially because your rope is, like, out of length. You've got your attack actions if you want them.
I am going to wait till it gets close to me. I'm going to hold my... Can I hold my action to see if it's going to try and take a nab at me or anything like that?
I'll tell you right now, if you want to hold your actions, then you're going to get to use them because this thing is coming straight for you. So you have because you're holding your actions, you have an instant to react before it. Like, you see it kind of faint and then go around you. You got a nat 20 perception check, so I'm going to give you this too. You realize it's not going to, like, bite you. It is going to, like, try. It's got a 20 foot long of this, like, muscly, sinewy eel body. It is going to try and, like, wrap you.
Okay. Yeah. As it's, I guess in that. Yeah, I think I would let it try and wrap me, but, like, in a way, since I can see it, to, like, have my arms free to, like do something later. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay. So you want to try and grapple this thing first before it.
Yeah.
Cool. Give me an athletics check. It's going to be against this thing's. I mean, it's gonna be an athletics too, not its acrobatics. Its athletics is better. It gets a +7 to this roll.
It's about as strong as me. 15 plus 8.
This thing got a 12. Tell me what it looks like as you're grappling this thing now. It doesn't have a hold of you. You have a hold of it.
Yeah. As I grapple it, I, like, tug. I, like, try and pull, so, like, the rope is, like, tugging. Hopefully someone can see it.
Yeah, we cut back up to the deck. Now that this has happened, what is everyone else back up on deck doing? Nix, you and Vera have just been dragged up. The storm is dissipated. Perrin, are you handing the wheel back over to Mariko?
I'm gonna hand the wheel over, and I'm gonna tell him to get sails back up, because I've seen Nix control water before. Yeah. They're all on the other side of the boat. Perrin's gonna grab Fauna and start running out of the hut towards the side Atticus went out. How far is that? Can I get there and perceive what's going on?
You absolutely can, because we're not really in initiative order anymore. We just described that last thing that happens to Atticus, but we're out of initiative now. If you're running out,
Amos was already looking as well.
Yeah, you and Fauna are going. Like Amos dives back down. The rope's going crazy. You see the rope though.
Got it.
Perrin just like tugging against the mainsail that it's attached to.
Yeah, Perrin's gonna run and look over and see what he sees.
Give me a perception check.
I feel like the
Atticus
light of the angler would help us see down into the water too.
It makes the DC lower for sure.
13.
In the grapple, I feel like Atticus would be like petting this thing.
Give me an insight check.
Okay.
Can I do Arcana?
22? Hmm? 22 on insight?
22. This thing is... 22 is actually very good. This thing is mad as all hell that you've grappled it. Like, it is running off this animal instinct. 22 is good enough, though. This thing is intelligent. Maybe it can't talk. You have no idea what's going to happen. Like, if you bring this thing above water, no idea what's going to happen. You've never seen anything like this before. But it is acting with an intelligence. 22, though. It is also acting as if compelled to do what it is doing. Perception from Perrin and Arcana from Fauna. What were those checks?
I got 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said. 14, I think.
14. Perception on 14. You can see the dim light, Perrin. I don't think it illuminates Atticus through the water. He's still about 10 feet underwater, but you see the rope like shaking, and you see it going to like a point of light, suspended beneath the ocean. 15 on Arcana. The waves aren't hitting the boat anymore. There's still the sound of the thunder, sound of the rain hitting the deck. But it's not something you hear, Fauna. It's something that you feel. A call. A pull. Something from a distance. Like a finger beckoning you all closer. And I think at this point you've left, so the hut is dissipated. I need all of you, except for Atticus, who is underwater, to give me a wisdom saving throw. If you get advantage, it is a charm effect.
So advantage for elves.
Yep.
And Aaliyah gets advantage.
Yes.
You.
Nat 20.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
26.
Ooh, I just did nat 20 twice in a row because I had advantage.
Are those new dice?
Hit one of those right
That's
over.
the new
Does
one
that
you
count
got me.
for something? Does that count
This
for
was
extra?
also
If you get it
was
twice?
my ocean dice.
We're going to flavor this a certain way. And I mean, obviously, Perrin, nothing happens to you. Actually, you know what? This is important too. I'm going to roll for the captain.
I actually have an idea, if you don't mind. I have a flavor.
Cool.
This is something I've never got a chance to do. I now have counter charm as bard. So I think Perrin feels the effects of that charm hit, and he immediately starts belting out a sea shanty at the top of his lungs.
Okay. I love that. Perrin, as you start singing, I'm going to flavor it. You've counter charm. Nyx, with a 14, you would have fallen prey to this. Counter charm, you don't. You're good. Here is the other thing that I'm going to say. Underneath the water, Atticus, you are struggling against this thing. You've got it pinned. It's like long body is wrapping around you, but you're not really confined. Like you've got this thing in enough of a lock that it can't quite get what it needs to like encircle you enough and constrict you. You hear muffled through the water something reverberating out. It's not so much that you hear the song, it's that you feel it. Feeling it in this space, you see, even though its eyes are blind, a cloudiness fall away from the eyes of this creature, this like anthropomorphic eel hybrid thing. And as that falls, you feel it relax in your arms. And as it relaxes, it's almost like it takes its awareness in of you for the first time. And you're going to feel it try and slip away. Not constrict you anymore, but just, do you let it go? It's up to you. You've got it grappled.
Yeah.
You let it. You release just a little bit, and this sinewy, muscly creature just underneath your arm. It is gone in an instant, and you see it begin to dive back down into the depths. Quickly, the light just disappearing into the darkness below.
Atticus is just waving goodbye to their new friend, my new squire.
Fucking
goodbye,
great.
Bert Jr.
Great. Perrin, you're back up on the deck of the ship. In the notes of your counter charm, something in the air begins to resonate, and I'm not going to make anyone else roll for this because you can all hear now, like the siren song. The siren song begins to come underneath the notes of what Perrin is doing, and in that particular way that bardic magic does, where music resonates beyond perhaps its natural ability to. The resonance that happens starts from the siren song but quickly overpowers it, and it dissipates. And something else rings in the air. It is like a distant song. And I think as that happens, the storm above you begins to clear as well. As the storm breaks, the light of an almost full moon shines down. You're all there on the deck looking out. No checks needed. In the distance, all of you see, illuminated by the light of a full moon, reflecting from the water below, a massive tower, black and craggy, like a rock sticking out of the ocean. It's not on land anywhere. It's like this thing is rising straight out of the ocean. You don't know how far down it goes. And what would have been a very different song emanating from this tower, Perrin, as you cast your counter charm, it is like the ocean itself amplifies your song back to you. And that song rings out from this tower.
Perrin turns to the crew and he's like, I think like 12 of you owe me 5 gold apiece for saving a life by singing a song.
Yeah. Kurt's up there. Kurtz hands you the 5 gold pieces. Maya's like shuffling through a purse that somehow like made it strapped to her leg through the storm. I mean, all of you are going to see like crew members handing over pieces of gold to Perrin.
Nyx is like actively trying to get the water out of their ears. Like, why the fuck are we paying Perrin? They're shouting way too loud. They can't really hear anything.
Albatross circles back around, lands on the deck next to all of you, looks over to you. Fauna.
Fucking Christ, what is that? It's attacking us.
I'm a cat.
I told you, it's cat.
I'm a cat. I can fly now, which is pretty cool.
Can anyone understand
What's wrong
her?
with Fauna?
Why the fuck are you a
Fauna,
bird,
you
and why the
okay?
fuck are you a bird?
Listen, it seems like a lot of people are confused right now about everything that's going on, and there's a lot of noises. I just came down to say there's a tower up there, and there's like a weird song coming from it, and the song is different now, but it's still coming from it.
Oh, is that right, Catbird? There's
Yeah,
a giant
well-
tower over there, and there's a sound coming out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry.
She
It's
told me
been
to
a long
go
day.
look.
You're a good Catbird. Good job.
okay.
Good job, Catbird.
Okay, thank you. You see the bird with not really a tongue attempts to like, sort of like groom, like takes the feather and does a very cat-like thing as it's trying to groom itself with a feathered wing and a beak, just sort of like clicking against the.
Fauna just like a fish has been thrown up onto the deck of the ship during like the huge waves, and she just like picks it up and tosses it to the albatross.
Is Atticus on the ship yet?
Atticus.
No, he's just swimming.
You're just swimming next to the ship now. Tether attached.
He's just doing the
Nyx is
backstroke.
gonna start like pulling on the rope to like bring him in and help him up and all that fun stuff.
I think I had a like religious experience down there. I think I found my new squire.
What?
Yeah, it was this fucking creepy fish eel with the human face thing, but
Nope.
black.
I
can-
also veto
I can
that.
fix them.
No.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
What are y'all looking at? What's out on the? And Atticus is like scaling back up the boat
There's a
and shakes dry like a dog.
there's a tower over there, and Perrin's gonna look at it and see if he recognizes the shape of the tower.
Give me a perception check.
Proud as I
Nyx,
am
do you
of all of
think-
us, I can't hold this up for very long. So full
11.
sail ahead if we're heading to that tower.
Oh yeah, the sails should be
Right
going
around
up.
it.
Would this be a bad time to bring up what we found? Was that a part of that?
Nyx is gonna shoot you a very pointed "shut the fuck up" glare.
Claire,
Are you talking about?
what is wrong with you? Why are you? What'd you find?
Yeah, we found a bit of their store of gold down below in the hold.
Okay.
I would
Yeah,
love to stretch my legs, so we should go to that tower.
That was a
if,
nat 20 on deception, by the way.
Cool. A nat 20 on deception. I just realized that the dice cam has not really been showing the die rolls very well. That's a 3 on a luck check. As you say that, Nyx, waves aren't hitting this. Like, it is quiet, like beautifully quiet now out here on the ocean. From beneath deck, all of you hear just this thunder, almost like it's like 12 horses simultaneously like breathing at once, and it's like a sort of a ripple that goes through. As from below deck you just hear a massive and something thuds against the side of the ship. The
Yeah,
That
we
gigs it.
didn't find gold.
the
Perrin's
captain's
gonna look at the captain.
the captain looks down, looks out at all of you. Oh fuck. All right.
What's that?
Listen, I didn't know I was paid to bring it, and as soon as I was paid to bring it, I knew I had to bring it back, so it's been down there in the hold for some time, and it's probably not very happy with me. I think it's best if we keep it down there.
Fauna's
What?
gonna try and ask what it
Who
is,
paid
but
you?
she just makes an animal noise.
Yeah, I want to know what she wants to know. Who paid you?
I don't know. Listen, I was paid by an anonymous person. They never showed up at the port when we arrived from the Nightlands last time to take whatever this thing was off our hands. I have to be honest, I was under orders not to look in the hold, and when the person never showed up to claim it, I looked in the hold, and, well, it's some kind of creature. I'm just trying to bring it back to where we got it from.
Fauna's just already going. She, as soon as she heard it was a creature, she's just like gone. She's just like headed down there.
Fauna, the door's
No,
locked.
Fauna, wait.
She's gone.
I locked the door. I unlocked the door, by the way, but I
Yeah,
did lock
I mean, if
the
Fauna's already
door.
booking down there, Fauna, I mean, other people can follow you, but if you're doing this first, you're getting there first. Fauna, you get there to a locked door.
I would follow Fauna, and I
I'd
still
follow.
have my 60
Exactly.
feet speed. I'm so fast.
Okay.
I'm fast as
Does-
fuck.
Does knock require a verbal component?
That's a very good question. Let's look this up.
Can I do any of my spells?
I don't think
feel
this
like they
is this a
probably all-
mundane lock?
It's verbal.
The only component it requires is verbal. However, here's actually what I'm going to say. Fauna, you're a witch, so you don't use language like a wizard to like a particular language. As a witch, your casting is intention. Roll me an Arcana check to see if you can figure out in the Lingua Arcana how to use your new bird and animal speech to say what you would need to say to cast the spell.
12.
12. I don't think 12 is good enough. You're trying to utter word, like you're desperately like at this door. Everyone else is getting down there too, and they see you like twittering away at the door.
Oh, that's adorable.
Just
Fauna,
making
I'll-
noises.
Help you get in there, but now isn't the right time to open it. Whatever it was,
I mean, at least stop bleeding like a goat.
angry.
Fauna's just upset because she heard the part about it being down there for a really long time, like locked in a small space. And
Perrin is
she's
gonna-
she's like this far away from also being a feral creature right now, so like that's making her feel very upset.
Perrin is gonna knock on the door, and I am gonna cast Speak with Animals. Hey. Yes, agreed. You were taken from your home. We are on your way to your home right now. The person who did this regrets it very much, but right now you are on the ocean. Do you want to be on the ocean, or do you want to be back home?
Roll me. You're speaking with animals. I think there's an argument to be made for this can be a persuasion check instead of an animal handling check.
Okay.
Understand animals now that I'm speaking animal noises, or it's just comes out of my mouth
Just
and I
comes
don't
out of your
know.
mouth every time you try and
Okay.
speak.
25.
Okay.
And it's going to
25 is very
continue to
good.
explain
Yeah.
every detail of how they booked the ship. And, like, you've been on here for a long time. Like, I get it. I get it that it's frustrating. But, like, we are literally on the way back to where you are from right now. And everybody here is upset that you are in here. Could you... Are you going to be cool if we open this door, or are you going to be a dick about it? All right, Fauna, pop the door. I trust him. I'm sorry, whoever, you get out of the way. Vox, open the door.
I could try again, but I don't.
No check needed. Like Vox, you got a nat 20 on the back, like you.
30.
Yeah. Perrin is gonna still walk in first with his hands up and like wait for Fauna to come up with him. Okay? I get it. I get that you're upset. Do you want to come out? Like, we're trying to get out of a storm right now. Do you want fresh air? If you will be cool, and then we will keep taking you to the island.
Immediately, not in a way that is going to trample you or anything, but this massive creature, like, gets up and just begins to sort of body past Perrin, you, and Fauna. Not running, but just sort of, like, going past you to... It barely fits out the door.
This is new, Bert.
As it is heading out... Nyx, you see it raises that like elongated. It is like a kind of it's that cross between like the serpentine face and like the feline face with the little almost like scale vents that open up. You see it open those, and it lowers its head to look at you. Two of those eyes blink sideways, staring at you. You see it come closer. Sniffs.
Nyx is going to minor illusion what best they can remember of the mountain air in Oreth. And just kind of wave their hand around it as it's like taking a scent of them.
Yeah, give me an animal handling check with advantage.
14 on that first roll. Whoa, that went out. And that's a dirty 20 on the second one.
Almost like a cat would. Nyx, it winds around like its head, keeping its head kind of close to your body as it doubles back on itself. So now it's kind of braced against your back. Massive. I mean, it's 14 feet from like tail to tip. It's like a long horse, truly like filling up the corridor of this space, and arches its neck back to look at you. Looks back to you, Perrin.
I'm sorry they did this to you.
And Perrin, because only you can understand it right now, it looks at you.
Yes. Yes, we're gonna take you home. Perrin is gonna turn to Amos and say, "Go get the skeleton with the big axe and tell him to take this door down."
Tell.
Also, probably tell Gerald. Gerald will be upset. So
tell the skeleton.
Just tell him what we're doing.
Tell the skeleton to do what?
Take the door down.
Oh, take the door down. Yeah. Sure.
And when August does arrive, you've all seen him skulking around after meals and collecting chicken bones and things. And he's got like a satchel on, and he reaches into his satchel and starts like connecting extra bones to his hands and making his hands really big so that he can swing his axe extra hard. Because he's not alive, and so none of his bones are alive. So he's just incorporating other bones and objects into his skeletal frame.
Yeah,
you see he's got like switched around some of his femurs to make his arms longer.
This is certainly a crafting check that with your basis in a wood, I would grant you proficiency on it. Just go ahead and make me a proficient check, including your dexterity modifier for August.
Can I give advantage to that by just
I rolled
adding
a 19.
A little? Oh,
that's over 20.
Yeah. August got big old like meat grinder hands now.
Yeah. He starts dismantling the store. Again, skilled woodworker.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
I think for the sake of like, this is kind of, we're just going to cut like.
Aaron wants to ask the thing what its name is.
It just looks at you.
Oh, I mean, like, do you call yourself anything? Do you want to be called something?
You see it just look back to Nyx. Give me an insight check on this thing really quick, Perrin.
$11?
It's not old. Like barely an adolescent. If this thing was a
Oh,
horse,
no, that's
it is
so
like,
much worse.
It is like barely older than a pony at this point.
Perrin's gonna start petting it.
Fauna was
okay.
already petting it. As soon as it like
It's
moved
okay.
past her, she was just like,
Yeah, on realizing this, Perrin is like putting his arm around its shoulder and leading it towards the deck. Come on, it's okay. It's all right.
If all of you are heading back up above deck, we're going to close the session here. You all get back to the top of the deck. Mirko, for lack of other direction, is just sort of like headed towards that tower that he heard you all talking about. You're still a distance from it. You're not close.
I think that Vox's only like similarity in animal is the thing that was guarding the Black Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And that was protecting something. So I think Vox would do like a sweep of the room and make sure that nothing else is in there.
Give me an investigation check.
Oh, my dice just... That dice is gone forever. Hold on. Let me reroll. That is a 24.
24. Vox, you're last to make it back up on deck because as everyone else is going away, you're quickly scanning the room for any object it may have been protecting. You don't see anything. When you get back up to the top of the deck, like ship in full view of this tower now headed towards it, the storm has peeled away. Moon shining down on the deck and the ocean. You look at this Loroko. Large and serpentine, powerful legs. Even though, like, Fauna and Perrin are actively, like, doting, like, giving it pets, giving it pats. You see as you come back up on deck, it's very subtle in its body language, but there's a moment where it just sort of, like, looks, like, tilts its head just enough so that you can tell out of its peripheral it can clock you coming back up onto deck, and the way that it moves, it shifts its body to protect something, because it is protecting something. It's protecting Nyx. And that is where we're going to end the session. We'll see everyone next week for another episode of Castle Run. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.